nikufungulie. Wacha nikufungulie, nimefunga chini.
Baba, usiniamshe saa 9.
Sawa. Sawa. Wasika walemeaje? Hello guys, welcome to my channel. Hello. Hello guys, welcome to my channel. Tap the screen. Tap the screen. Tap the screen. Tap the screen, guys. Hey, welcome to my channel. Thank you so much for liking. Today I want us to talk about the barrels, and we'll talk about the small intestine. Before we start, let's pray. Our Heavenly Father, we thank you for today. We thank you for everything you have done to us today. O God of Israel, Jehovah King, Jehovah Jireh, Jehovah Shammah, Jehovah El Shaddai. Thank you so much for this, for you have brought us, for everything that has happened today. It has happened according to your own will, my Father. Guide and protect us throughout the night, and we'll be grateful and we'll be thankful for you and for your Son's grace. In the mightiest name of King Jesus, your Holy Son, I do pray and believe. Amen. Okay, the small intestine is the connection between the food coming from the outside world and the environment of the inside world. This section of the bowels works as a complex chemical processing system designed to break down food and prepare it to enter the bloodstream and become part of us. If food were to enter the bloodstream directly without first being processed in the bowels, it will have caused severe allergic reaction and turn out to be a deadly poison. Thanks to the bowels, food from outside world becomes part of us. The large intestines, cecum, colon, sigmoid, colon, and rectum, was long considered simply a transportation organ designed to get rid of what is left after digestion. Today, however, we know that the large intestine, however, houses a complex world of beneficial bacteria required for digesting food. The large intestine, producing vitamins and contributing to the good functioning of the enormous number of bacteria contained in our large intestine. It is estimated that we have nearly as much beneficial bacteria in the large intestine Our well-being depends on the enormous number of bacteria contained in our large intestine. It is estimated that we have nearly as many beneficial bacteria in the large intestine as we have in cells in the entire body. About 70 trillion, that is millions of millions, or 70. The bowels are much more than just a passageway. The whole part of the outside world, food and bacteria that is within a person. If the small intestine were smooth, its surface area would measure about 0.56 square meters, 6 square feet. However, thanks to numerous intestinal villi, the surface capable of absorbing nutrients increases to 8.4 millimeters or 90.4 square feet. So the best way to care for the bowels is to consume enough fiber. It is estimated that 1/4 of digestive diseases are due to not eating enough fiber. So fiber content foods are such as an apple. It's a fiber content food. An orange is a fiber content food. A bowl of lentils is a fiber content food. A date, 1 gram, is a fiber content food. A glass of orange juice, it's a fiber content. An artichoke, artichoke is a fiber content food. White bread, a fiber content food, and a brown bread. A tablespoon of all oats also is a fiber content food. So those are foods that if we take, will help us to care for the bowels, for the large and small intestine. Okay, they say that drink more water. The bowels require water. When mildly hydrated, the body first resorts to the water in the stool, extracting nearly all of its water and drying it out. You see? When stool becomes dry, the bowels must work hard to move and eliminate it. So drinking too little water promotes constipation. So we should drink more water. That's why it's suggested that a grown-up, we should drink, as grown-ups, we should drink 6 to 8 glasses of water per day. You see? So it has a reason. Okay. Consume probiotics to help the bowels process the foods. Probiotics are living organisms, usually bacteria that live in the human bowels and make up the bacteria flora. You see? An unbalanced diet, antibiotics or other reasons cause the number of beneficial bacteria in the bowels to decrease, affecting the composition of bacterial flora and leading to the appearance of pathogenic germs such as certain fungi like Candida albicans that helps. The most common species of probiotics are Lactobacillus bifidobacterium parvus, Lactobacillus plantarum. Okay, avoid bowel stressors such as milk. Due to its cow's milk, due to its lactose content, cow's milk is one of the primary bowel stressor system. There are certain substances in foods that require more work for the bowel to digest, causing biochemical stress with intestinal disorders. The following bowel stressors should be avoided. Refined products that are high in sugar, white flour, low in fiber, such as cakes and pastries. We should avoid meat. It's a bowel stressor. We should avoid lactose, especially in those who are unable to tolerate this milk sugar. Gluten, especially in celiacs, and animal fats and processed fats. We should avoid if we need to, like in this case, we need to help our bowels work easily. So we should consume enough fiber. Like I said, I've told you an apple, an orange juice, all wheat bread is a bowel food content. A tablespoon of olive oils, a date, an artichoke, and a bowl of lentils. Those are some of the foods that are fiber rich and can help our bowels, small and large intestines, work effectively. The human intestine can break down, digest, and absorb any food ingredient except vegetable fiber. Fiber is eliminated with the stool exactly the way it entered through the the mouth. Only large due to its ability to retain water. After about 25 grams of vegetable fiber is required for stool to be sufficiently large and for proper bowel function. Of the two types of fiber, insoluble bran and soluble mucilage and pectin, the latter is most recommended. Okay, the benefits of those foods that I've mentioned, it promotes the feeling of fullness, thereby preventing obesity. Yeah, so you don't overeat, like you don't eat continuously. Keeps stool soft and voluminous, facilitating its journey through the bowels. That's the number two important. The number two important of the fiber content foods. It helps the stool to be softer, that it moves easily. so you don't stress the bowels. It regulates glucose entering the blood, preventing surges in blood glucose, and thereby reducing insulin needs. Reduces reabsorption of biliary acids, making the liver utilize more cholesterol for bile production and reducing its level in the blood. Yes, so excuse yeah. So it stimulates growth of bacterial flora in the bowels, beneficial intestine bacteria, causing more vitamins to be produced. Prevents the following diseases: diverticulosis, diverticulitis, inflammatory bowel disease, gallstones, hemorrhoids, and colon cancer. The fiber, so we should encourage ourselves to take these foods. Like I said, I will repeat, an apple is very important for the bowels. So when you find someone taking apples, like sequentially, it means that he is trying to protect his bowels, which is very important. Oranges are good for the bowels. You can take it raw or take the oranges, and then a date, it's okay. Then there's wheat bread, all wheat bread, like a brown bread and white bread. It's okay for the where it's full of fiber. And about lentils, a date and artichoke. Those are foods that are rich in fiber. So when you want to help the stomach, the bowels, the large and small intestines, you should eat such foods. You see, like I always say, that life is all about our will to live. So we should take our health as a priority. It's the number one thing, because whatever we do without that health is all in vain. Because even if you have money and it ends up in the hospital, it's still 1 minus 1, which equals to 0, you see. So we must take our health seriously. It should be our priority that we stay healthy. That's why I'm here, for you, to give you a little tip of things that we should do. Maybe 1 or 2 that you we usually forget. So kindly, you can like and subscribe my channel and comment. I'll appreciate. Okay, natural treatments. If you have problems of the bowels, when applied on the abdomen, the bowels are sensitive to pressure and temperature stimuli. So bowel massage: lie on a hard surface and relax. Using 3 middle fingers of both hands, massage the surface of the midsection, making a semicircle movement from right to left. Yeah, so you massage the bowels from right to left. That's number one treatment of the bowel, so that you help it in the digestion of foods. Along with fiber-rich diet, introduce aqueous liquids into the anus The tube softens stool and makes it easier to pass, helping keep the bowels clear. Enemas are usually done with half a liter of water, half a liter of warm water. Optionally, add a teaspoon of salt or other laxative or soothing medicinal herb infusion. Yeah, it helps the bowels. A warm sitz bath tones abdominal muscles and promotes bowel movements. It also helps heal anal fissures. Yeah. So guys, let's take care of our health. It's our health is not our health is our responsibility unless we are ukilala utanisaidia sawa. Our health is our responsibility, and if in any way we want to live longer and a happy life, it should be our number one thing that we should look upon. Like everything we say, everything we do, everything is important. Yesterday we talked about the brain. It was important. We found out that the brain needs two things. It needs glucose and oxygen. And we say that in order for it to function correctly, we should supply it with efficient oxygen. We found out that it takes 20% of all the oxygen that enters our bodies. The brain takes 20% of it. So we found out that we should take more glucose, and we should be in an environment full of oxygen. So today, like I've said, in the bowels, we should eat foods rich in fiber. That's an apple. If you find apples, it will help the bowels. If you find orange or orange juice, it will help the bowels. If you find bread, white bread and brown bread, it helps the bowels. And artichoke, it helps the bowels. And another one is lentils and all oats. Sorry. So we have found out that we should drink more water. More water helps in the digestion, and it eases the stool, helps the bowels to release the stool easily. Okay, thank you. So we'll proceed. Let's look about another thing. Let's talk about colon cancer. Although some cases of colon cancer are hereditary, like it's a genetic, like from mother, grandfather, and, to sons and daughters, the majority can be prevented by following this recommendation. Sorry, found something. So decrease or eliminate meat intake. So we have found out that meat generally is it's an enemy to our bowels. It's one of the bowel stressors. Meat and cow's milk is one of our bowel stressors, and we should try as much as possible to avoid it. You see, that's when you want to do away with the constipation and so forth. Okay, decrease or eliminate meat intake. Both red meats, that's pork, veal and lamb, and white meat, chicken and turkey, promote colon cancer. You see, meats promote colon cancer. So we should reduce or eliminate. You see, meat is an enemy to our bowels. It's one of the bowel stressors. So we should reduce or eliminate. Promote. Okay, the red meat and the white meat promote colon cancer. You see, this is due not only to the lack of fiber needed by the colon, but also to the carcinogenic substance formed at high temperatures with cooking or griffing. Decrease or eliminate alcohol intake. Like we found out yesterday that alcohol is our number one enemy of health, and health is our number one priority. When you want to live a healthy life and a longer one, we should avoid alcohol. Here again, we found alcohol as a stress. Alcohol has been found to particularly promote colon cancer in people who consume few folates or folic acid. This vitamin is found primarily in leafy vegetable, seeds, and legumes. You see, so we should decrease or eliminate alcohol. We have found meat is a stress, alcohol too is a stress. Decrease fat intake. There is a direct link between the total amount of fat in the diet, especially animal fat, and the risk of colon cancer. Animal fat. Recently, it has been shown that trans fatty acids, which are formed by industrial hydrogenation of vegetable oils to obtain salad fats or by frying foods, promote colon cancer. Increase fiber intake, like we have seen, is an apple, an orange juice, an orange fruit, and date and breads, white and brown breads. Avoid obesity. Overweight people have an excess of blood, insulin, a hormone that promotes cell growth in the mucosal cells of the colon, you see. So we should avoid obesity as much as possible. Overweight people have an excess of blood, insulin, a hormone that promotes cell growth in the mucosal cell of the colon. Okay, exercise more. Like we found out yesterday that exercise is our health number one, and it helps us keep healthy if we want to live longer, and if we want to help the brain. We should exercise to supply oxygen, enough oxygen, because it's one of the most essential things that the brain needs. Exercise has been shown to have a protective effect against colon cancer, possibly because exercise decreases blood insulin levels, you see. So while traveling through the large intestine, the water in stool passes into the bloodstream and stool becomes solid. Little water is extracted if stool travels through the large intestine quickly, resulting in diarrhea. If it travels through very slowly, the great deal of water is extracted from it, resulting in the dry stool, typical to constipation. The stool traveling slowly through the large intestine or colon allows prolonged contact between stool and the intestinal mucosa. The consequences of this slow travel are internal self-intoxication due to absorption of toxic substance formed in stool as a result of decay. Increase the risk of colon cancer if there are carcinogenic substance in stool from meat and meat products. Its prolonged contact with intestinal mucosa promotes degeneration into cancer. How to okay. Okay, having bowel movements. A satisfying bowel movement is the end result of good digestion. To achieve it, learning to have a bowel movement is almost as important as learning to eat. So, people usually take it for granted that's so easy, but it's not. Having a bowel movement is a psychological act that is reflexive and repetitive, almost ceremoniously. This ideal time for bowel movement is in the morning after getting up. In order for this to happen, get up 10 or 15 minutes early if necessary. Whether in the morning or any other time, however, the important thing is to educate the bowels, setting aside at a set time each day for bowel movements. The following 4 steps, okay. Drinking a glass of water. Upon waking up in the morning, drink a glass or two of room temperature water. This cleanses the stomach of the mucus that builds up overnight and stimulates the bowel movements reflex. Okay, that's what we usually never do. Yeah, that's what we usually never do, especially here in Africa, especially here in Kenya. Drinking water in the morning, especially that we wake up and drink water, is we do it in rare occasion unless we are sick. Most of us always we wake up as we go on with our daily routine. So we have found out that drinking water necessarily is very important in the morning to help our bowels do its proper functioning. So number 2, prepare for the bowel movement. Get in a position that allows for bowel movement and relax, waiting as long as necessary for the bowel movement to occur. Squatting in the normal position for a bowel movement. This has been done all throughout the ages and across cultures. Okay, advantages of this squatting in the morning: fewer anal fissures, fewer hemorrhoids, less diverticulitis. Okay, check stool. Stool should be visual checked immediately for anything unusual that could signal a disorder or a disease. Some people fear checking the stool, or rather, in our case here in Africa, we do have toilets that have a hole through. We don't get a chance to see the stool because our toilets, most of our toilets are made are designed in a way that we cannot see the stool. Yeah, it's just a hole, and then you just go do your thing, and then it just enters the hole, and you forget about it. You see, so checking the stool in our cases, mostly in Africa, Kenya, is rarely, we don't do it frequently, unless you go do your thing outside, not in the toilet. That's why where you can have that opportunity to see the stool. But in our normal cases, our toilets, especially here in rural areas, like where I am right now in Siaya, most of us have the normal toilets. When you go do your thing, you just don't check the stool. So we have found out that it's important for the checking of stool, so that we see if we have a bowel disorder or a disease. It helps so that we go to the doctor early enough and seek medical attention as fast as possible. Guys, I hope the little 1, 2, 3 knowledge I've told you has helped. And if it has, kindly like my channel, like this live, share, tap in your screen, subscribe to my channel. It really helps. Like I always say, we rise by supporting others. You may to you it may not be worth something for you to subscribe my channel. It's just you just say just one subscribe, one like. What will have what different will it have if I do or don't? But to me, that one subscriber, that's one like, is a milestone. So kindly, you can like my live, can subscribe to my channel, you can share my live, and you can comment. I'll be grateful.
Nettle contain a high amount of iron, which with chlorophyll they contain, explains their anti-anemic action. Is consumed raw in salads, in omelettes, in soups, or simply boiled as any other vegetable. It is a perfect substitute for spinach, even more tasty and less sour. Good source of proteins. Instead of Viagra, use nettle. Nettle contain a high amount of iron, which with chlorophyll they contain, explains their anti-anemic action. Is consumed raw in salads, in omelettes, in soups, or simply boiled as any other vegetable. Used in anemia caused by lack of iron, used by loss of blood, used in blood clot to stop bleeding, used in digestion disorders, used to calm strong diarrhea, used to decrease sugar in blood, used to increase milk in breastfeeding women, used in skincare, used to prevent hair loss in men. Nettle plant defends itself and defends us too. Used in anemia caused by lack of iron, used by loss of blood, used in blood clot to stop bleeding, used in digestion disorders, used to calm strong diarrhea, used to decrease sugar in blood, used to increase milk in breastfeeding women, used in skincare, used to prevent hair loss in men. Nettle plant defends itself and defends us too. Instead of Viagra, use nettle. In addition to oxygen, glucose is the most important need of the brain. Glucose is the primary fuel for neurons. Without glucose, the brain cannot work, since this sugar that is so abundant in nature is responsible for nourishing the electrical mini command center present in each neuron. All starches and sugars from food are eventually converted to glucose during digestion. In addition to oxygen, glucose is the most important need of the brain. Glucose is the primary fuel for neurons. Without glucose, the brain cannot work, since this sugar that is so abundant in nature is responsible for nourishing the electrical mini command center present in each neuron. All starches and sugars from food are eventually converted to glucose during digestion. In addition to oxygen, glucose is the most important need of the brain. Glucose is the primary fuel for neurons. The brain cannot work, since this sugar that is so abundant in nature is responsible for nourishing the electrical mini command center present in each neuron. All starches and sugars from food are eventually converted to glucose during digestion. In addition to oxygen, glucose is the most important need of the brain. Glucose is the primary fuel for neurons. Without glucose, the brain cannot work, since this sugar that is so abundant in nature is responsible for nourishing the electrical. In addition to oxygen, glucose. Consume enough fiber for your bowels. Drink lots of water. Avoid cold and dry air.
Natumia.
Nettle contain a high amount of iron, which with chlorophyll they contain, explains their anti-anemic action. It is consumed raw in salads, in omelettes, in soups, or simply boiled as any other vegetable. It is a perfect substitute for spinach, even more tasty and less sour. Good source of proteins. Instead of Viagra, use nettle. Instead of
Hello guys. Tap the screen. Tap the screen for me. Tap the screen. How are you doing, guys? How are you doing? Tap the screen like this. Kindly. Thank you so much for coming to my live. Thank you. Here is about 10:30. Thank you so much for joining my live. Where are you watching from? I'm streaming from Kenya. Where are you watching from? Kindly tap the screen for me. Share my live, and kindly, if you may, subscribe my channel. Kindly. I'm streaming from Kenya. Where are you watching from? Here it's about 10:30, about 11 at night. Kenyans have, most of us have gone to bed. Yeah, so the day has ended. It was okay. Like I say, the will of God is moving and it carries us all. We exercise this will by living daily and doing His will to live. You see, when you live, when you do your things, when you go on with your daily activities, you always do His will, because He created us, and His wish is we live righteously, though, but He gave us the free will to choose if you want to live righteous or just live the other life. So it's your own will. Yeah, it's your own will, I can say. So please kindly you can add me some like. Today I go with 10 likes, kindly, not 4 as usual and 4, 5 as usual. Please just tap the screen like this. You can share my live. I'll appreciate. Like I said to you, it might not be something big or as important, but to me, it's a huge success. It's a milestone to me when you just tap the screen and subscribe to my channel. So kindly, you can share if you may, if you will, you can share, or just tap the screen, say something, anything, any question. You can tell me where you're watching from. You see, it helps. You can just tap the screen like this. You just tap like this. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for coming. Thank you so much for watching. Joy. Joy. Don't say it. Hello guys, where are you watching from? I'm streaming from Kenya. Thank you for joining my live. Where are you watching from? Tap the screen, tap the screen, tap the screen, guys, tap the screen. The human brain is the most complex object in the known universe, and at the same time the least understood. The human brain is so complex, so efficient in energy use, and so powerful that evolutionist theories cannot explain its origin. It's a simple neuron, that body of which measures less than a tenth of a millimeter, suppresses us by its organization and intelligent design. How much more suppressing is the brain, being made up of millions of interconnected neurons, which are capable of making decision, thinking, loving, and believing. So, the brain directs all bodily functions. So the brain is the CPU of our bodies. So every information that we have, every information that we see, we get it from the brain. That's why it's the most protected organ in the body by the skull. You see, it has been protected physically, and we should continue protecting it, even psychologically and emotionally. No organ in the body is better protected physically than the brain, and no other performs such complex function and requires so much care. You see, the brain requires so much care, and it requires so much. Kulala. So nalala. So the brain is also the most threatened organ in these special times in which we live. Trauma, infection, unbalanced diets, toxins, and environmental contaminants, addictive drugs, and stress all pose as increasing threats to the brain's ability to perform its higher and complex functions. So there are some things that are happening right now that can pose as threats to the brain's main function. So we should try to avoid them. Like we have seen stress, we have seen drugs, we have seen alcohol, we have seen the natural. As a result, the brain is currently the organ that requires the most protection and care in the okay. There's a physical protection, chemical protection, and taking care of the basic needs, healthy habits. The things we eat and the things we drink should be checked before, because it affects our thinking capacity. A steady supply of oxygen is the brain's first and most important need. Without this vital gas, which comes from clean air, the brain cannot perform any of its function. You see, without oxygen, the brain cannot perform any of its function. And the brain is the CPU of the body. The brain is where the body extracts its information and supplies the rest of the body, if it's to run, if it's to sit, if it's to go to sleep, and everything, if it's to eat, if it's to, you see, go shower, everything comes direct from the brain. The brain processes the information and you react. That's why I can speak right now, because the brain has told me it's time to speak. You see, it has processed the environment, has processed the network, and found out that this time I should speak for this purpose. You see, so without the brain, if the brain is dead, I wouldn't even be here. You see, so like God protected it first with the skull. We should continue in that that fights and protect the brain a lot, because it's the engine of the body, it's the CPU of the body, the processor, you see. So we should, the brain is a big oxygen consumer, surpassed only by the liver. Although its weight is only 2% of the body weight, of the body's weight, it consumes 20% of all of the oxygen carried by the blood. This means that it consumes 10 times more oxygen than the average of the rest of the body. You see, when you take the organs of the body and you divide it into 10, the brain surpasses it, because the brain takes 20% of every oxygen that enters the body, you see. So the oxygen is very important to the brain, you see, for thinking and everything that we do, every daily activity, and each and everything that we find ourselves doing, it has been processed by the brain. So how to improve oxygen flow to the brain, you see. So we should breathe in fresh air. We should perform a series of deep breathing exercises. Okay, just give me one or 2 minutes. I'm coming. So go to sleep, and everything is goes down.
Mimi sijisikii kutoka hapa kwa gari. So utakula nini?
Lala tu. Non gari nafikiri. Sometimes I usually just, I don't know what usually happens to me. I just talk without realizing that the mic is off. So I've talked like for 10 minutes without noticing that the mic is off. I don't know what sometimes happens to me by the way. So should I again start or should I just leave it at that? Okay, I was saying about when the mic was off, I was saying that nettle plant, I was talking about nettle plant. It is a pity that nettles are avoided by so many people and are even regarded as weed. If only they knew how many virtues this allegedly aggressive plant have. You see, the nettle is one of the prima donnas of cytotherapy. Its peculiar hairs make it known even by blind people. That's one of its common names is bone herb of the blind. This discourages already praised. Okay. Says about nettle leaves, among other things, that they may excite people towards lust. How could these stinging leaves be able to excite sexual appetites? You see? So its uses is that the nettle, it is used in anemia caused by lack of iron or loss of blood, because the iron and the chlorophyll that the nettle contains stimulates the production of red blood cells. The nettle also assists convalescence, malnutrition, and exhaustion cases due to invigorating and recovering effects. The nettle plant also stops the blood clot. So it stops the blood clot. The nettle plant, it stops the blood clot. When you cut yourself and you are beside or close to nettle plant, just take the nettle plant, apply it in where the blood is coming out of, and it will clot very easily. It renders good results in digestive disorders caused by atony or insufficient of digestive organs. You see? The nettle, has been successfully used to calm the strong diarrhea caused by cholera. You see, when you have strong diarrhea caused by cholera, you might use the nettle plant to calm it down. We have seen that you can cook the nettle plant, you can smash it, and you can drink its leaf. Both or all of them are useful. It increases the milk secretion of breastfeeding women. You see, when a woman is breastfeeding and has a problem or does not have enough milk, it's suggested that we can use we can use the nene. We can use the nettle plant to do what? To help the mother produce enough milk. Due to its soothing effect, it is recommended in chronic affliction with the skin. So when you have a skin disease, this plant can help you. You just take it, smash it, take the liquid, and you just rub in your skin, or you take the leaf, warm it, and then you patch in your skin. It helps in skin acne. Nettles clean, regenerate, and makes skin more beautiful. I'm coming, guys. Excuse me. Pole. I'm sorry for that inconvenience. I had some noise outside, and I went to check what was happening. You know, we must be vigilant for our own sake, because the world nowadays, the world is our number one enemy. So we must be careful with everything that's happening. Thank you so much, my friends.